with that said, I'm literally going to shut up here in a second. Jessica has put together some virtual listing stuff. And I mean, it's virtual, but it also stuff that you can put together and bring with you on a listing appointment. And I'm super excited to see it all. So with that said, Jessica, thank you for doing this for us. And this is all yours. And if you can hit record if you haven't yet, go ahead and start recording.
It is recording. Okay, I got it recording.
Awesome. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. So good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Okay, let me see. Okay. So before I begin diving into the actual presentation, so what I'm going to cover today is, we're calling it a virtual presentation because all of this is digital. All of this is done from online. You can use this through your phone, through your computer. None of this ever needs to be printed, which creates ease of access, and also it allows you to share it and just kind of have it with you at your fingertips and not worry, oh, I forgot this piece of paper or that piece of paper. So the more digital that you can get with your business, the better. So how many of you, and you can raise your hand or you can just say, me, how many of you primarily do everything digital now with all your business?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is it that most of you are, where do you store all of your stuff? So as far as your paperwork, your presentations, talk to me about where you store it or what you use.
On the computer.
So, I mean, are you using like Google Drive, what Brian was talking about the other day? Are you using your Conversion? Are you using something different, Outlook, a different CRM?
I'm not.
Joe's he's making me hungry.
Google.
Let me see who's in the chat here. Okay. So I use Google, and I also use another feature. So I'm gonna, real quick, this is the presentation we're gonna go through. This is a listing presentation that I use and that my team in Houston uses, whether it's actually in person or virtual. So, but where I make this is back on this screen. So how many of you have heard of Canva?
What?
Canva, C-A-N-V-A. Anybody? Okay, so Canva is a free tool. It's a free marketing tool. You literally can do so many different things with Canva. And this is where all of my content always comes through. Anything that I've shared on the Grow Local Facebook page, anything that I do on Facebook, anything I do with real estate, it's Canva. So just a quick right here is the home screen for Canva. And they have things up here for you to create designs. So it's already designed according to the platform you're posting it to. So if you're making a Facebook cover, it's already got the dimensions down for you. If you're doing a Facebook post, if you want to create a video, a flyer, a business card, you name it, it's on here. They have designs that are already in there for you that you can just edit and modify, or you can be creative and make something on your own. So this is the secret to everything that I do. And I just wanted to show you guys that. Let's go to my designs. Hold on. All right. So as you can see, this is my wall of things that I create. This is where all the templates that I was showing everybody. See how it just scrolls from one to the next? Everything's set in there. All I have to do is just go in and edit information. So this makes life really easy, and it makes things consistent with you when you're trying to get your brand out there to everybody. Does that make, ooh, I don't know what I look like on your end, but on my side, I'm like,
That's still good on ours.
Okay. Okay, so let's jump into this. So this presentation is exactly what I would go through with a seller. Now, when I'm setting up this presentation, I did it through Canva, and I'm not going to do this in the present mode. If I go up here, if you see in my right-hand corner, it says present. So if I'm doing this virtually, or I'm sitting there with somebody and I have an iPad or a computer and I'm doing this presentation, I would hit the present button and this will fill up my entire screen. So then it's full version, everything like that. I'm keeping it inside my Canva right now because I have to go to other links to show you guys what I'm doing. So that's why this looks a little smaller. So the thing that you want to do when you're, and I may be all over the place with this, so I apologize, but when you're putting together a virtual listing presentation, you want to make sure that everything that you're going to be providing to the client in this presentation is at your fingertips. So anything that's going to be clickable in here, anything that I want to share with them, you want to make sure that all your other tabs are open on the top of your screen. So you're not going all over the place trying to find things. And then anything that you're talking about in the presentation, it's so easy to go over there and click to. And for me, and I apologize, mine's on 2 different screens, so I have to click back and forth. But if I go to this screen, does everyone see my Google screen right now? So on my Google screen, I'm in the Drive, which Brian talked about. And in my Drive are all my documents for my listing presentation. So anything that I'm going to talk about during the infographic, like the graphic that I just showed you, anything that we talk about in there, if I refer to a packet, or if I refer to a video clip or the CMA, anything like that. I have all of this already done in a Google Drive packet. So basically when I'm done with my presentation and we're going through everything and they're like, yeah, we're on board, we're ready to go. We want to do this listing. All I need to do is I just need to go in here and I can email them a link to their personalized folder, which will give them everything. And these are, I don't have these all dressed up just for the sake of this presentation, but something like the personalized CMA, just to show you what this can do. If it opens up for me, hold on, or not. I'm having a lag on here, hold on. I don't know why it's doing that. My screen just stopped. Ah, there we go. So when you create, and normally I create these in Canva and then I copy this into here, but I did this just simple for you guys so you could see what it actually looks like. But I would write a word, and if I were to write professional photos,
I can listen my name.
You can then copy over it like this, and there's a link button here. In that link, you can copy and paste any link that you want to, so when they get this paper, and when they go to click on this, a link already pops up. Do you see how cool? And if I click this link, it takes them right to the homes that we were discussing in our presentation. And it has all my information on it. And then they can see, okay, here's the listing that we're talking about. Here's the photos of what our comparables are. So if you're doing a CMA, you can send them the CMA and you can send them to the link of all the homes that they're looking at. So they can even see that live on their side, or they can view it later. It's actually a really cool feature. Let me go back here. So, and in this folder, the other thing that, and these are just some of the things, and honestly, what I'm doing for you guys is I'm creating all of this for you. I'm creating the templates for you. So you just need to go back and edit and add your personal information. So homes just listed, preferred vendors, video marketing, what to expect, Alexa for your listing presentation. So these are all little documents that I'm going to be creating in Canva to share with you guys as the brokerage. So then you can then go and personalize them. So that is one beautiful thing about Canva. And I'm going to switch back over to that screen. So here in Canva, I can create folders. So my team in Houston, I have a Team Reverie folder. Inside this folder is all the marketing that I do for them, and then they just go and personalize it. You guys are gonna get the same thing. So everything that we do in here, we're gonna filter over to you guys so you can incorporate this into your presentation. So let's go back to this. Okay, So if I were going through a listing presentation, this would be my cover page. This would be what they see when they open up. This is just, we want it to look clean. We want it to look professional. We want to stand out from somebody else. We want to look like we sent this off to a marketing person and they put it together for us, right? It's first impression. When you're in front of somebody, especially now, especially virtually, they don't necessarily get to connect with you as on a personal level as much as what you would like, as if you're sitting across the table from each other. You know, even though you're doing video, they're seeing the screen. They're not seeing your facial expressions all the time. You're not completely seeing theirs. So it's really hard to read somebody. So you want to make sure that you are presenting something visually to them that's going to capture them, that's going to stimulate their senses, that's going to engage with them, and it's going to make them just sit in there look like, okay, they have their stuff together, right? They have their stuff together, and based off of this presentation, I can only imagine what they're going to do when it comes to listing my house. So visual is everything. And you guys are all going to get a copy of this, so you can use it. All you're going to have to do is edit the links that are associated with it. So you give them the wow factor: buy, sell, lease. Put your hashtag there, your quote there, whatever it is. This is my team's quote. And then you let them know first off the bat that you appreciate the opportunity to present the value to them, because that's what you're doing through the presentation. You are presenting to them the value that you bring, because they're taking time out of their day to sit and listen to you. They're looking to have something, you know, they want to sell their house, they want to do something. So show them this. Show them what your goal is. Let them know that you appreciate them taking the time out of their day to do this virtually, and have that conversation. And the point of this conversation is, this is only a 10-page slide. These are highlighting the exact things that you do to sell their house. So the next slide that we would talk about is the importance of video marketing and tours. And we put little snippets in here because, again, they're visual. Viewers retain 95% of a message when they watch it in video compared to 10% when reading it in text. That's a crazy stat. And just like, you know, Brian reviewed with all of us before, everybody's on social media right now. Instagram, Facebook, they're all watching TikTok like crazy. They're doing, video is where it is, and video is where it's going to go. So if this is where society is right now, even when the pandemic, you know, goes away and everything goes back to normal, because people know that this is a possibility where they don't have to see you in person, they're going to want to see, they're going to expect this more. They're not going to be as okay with just taking pictures of a listing. They're going to start to expect that video. And if you're not doing that video, then they're going to go with the other agent, because they're catching on to what's happening here. So that's where we're trying to gear you and prepare you for all of that. So if you're not already doing this, it's something that's really important. Now, in this presentation, when I created it, you can actually click on these links, and I'm not in presentation mode. So where's my video? Open a new tab. When you're in presentation mode, it'll automatically open the link, but because I'm not in presentation mode, it doesn't. But I wrote that text, I attached a link to it, and the link is here. And this is just an example video that I wanted to show. You can attach these links, and it's this video right here was about, you know, home exposure, what they're expecting. These are the types of videos that we're going to be putting together to put out there, but it's just an example of video marketing that you can do. Let me get out of here. Where'd I go? So you can embed any type of video into here that you want. So whether it's you talking and doing a virtual tour, whether it's you walking the house, whether it's a professional video that you just have a photographer go through and do a lifestyle video. Does everybody know what a lifestyle video is?
We're just talking about it.
No, Michael, I saw your face. Okay, so a lifestyle video, and if anybody has anybody that does video, this is who I'm looking for to help you guys. So a lifestyle video is where you go and you video things around the house. It's the town, it's the experience, it's the lifestyle. Because when you're trying to talk to a client and when you're trying to sell their house, you don't know where the buyer's coming from. You don't know if they're coming from within the neighborhood, a city away, a couple states away, a different country. You don't know where they're coming from. But the number one thing that sells houses on top of video is the lifestyle of the area. So a lifestyle video is literally a video where the video is going through and it's doing aerials of when you go up from the house and then you look out into the town, what you see. It'll go in and it'll go out and it'll go and walk down historic Apex and show the historic, downtown street that people walk. It'll do a drive-by fly or a video of the local parks that are there, the walking trails, the lakes. It incorporates what's around the property into that video. So that's what a lifestyle video is. And it's not your typical video inside the house either. It's a walking tour, but there's an element of elegance to it where, when you're walking into the kitchen, it will go by, you have the faucet running and it actually, does a picture of the water running out of the faucet in the kitchen while you're there, or the bathtub, or something happening, people, if there's a pool out back, somebody at the grill while there's kids in the pool. It's showing the lifestyle of how you live in the home. So it's living in the home and living in the area. So if anybody has somebody that does video or that's really good at video that might be looking to expand their resume, please let me know. Because what I would like to do for you guys is get stock videos of the towns. So do a lifestyle video of Holly Springs, Apex, where these are things you can then just start adding into your resume because we have it at the brokerage level. And then you can get specific to the house on top of that. Okay, does that sound cool? Okay. So that's that slide is video, and you can put other links in here if you want, but I like to keep the additional links in the Google Drive in the presentation folder that I have on the sheets, where then they can go and look at a example of a Matterport tour, which is huge right now. Matterport tours, lifestyle videos, virtual videos, everything like that. They're all really big, but I just want to put one example in the actual presentation for live and then let them know in the link that I send them, or if we click over to that, we can look at further stuff. Because this presentation should be no more than 30 minutes. Everyone's fast paced these days. They don't want to spend a lot of time, and you want to wow them so quickly and get as much information out there in a short amount of time that this whole presentation, 30 minutes tops. I mean, most of the time this is done in 10 minutes because you're going through this, you're doing some quick, talking points, you're doing things, but then after that 10 minutes, you're just jumping into actually walking through the CMA on a more detailed level. Or, getting a little more detailed into it, but you want to wow them first.
Jessica, can I add something?
Yeah.
We might incorporate local businesses to help us to absorb the cost of that video, because it might be almost like hidden commercial when we moving camera down the Apex downtown and it shows the local businesses.
So my take on that is we don't ask other people for money. We let them know that we are here to help promote their business. And in return, they help us down the road. So when you're doing an open house, maybe that bakery will provide free cupcakes for the open house, where we come from a place of giving. So, and the cost of this, once their stock picture videos are done, it's so worth it. And when you go into a local business, so if you're doing a lifestyle down Holly Springs and you're going to walk into the coffee shop and you say, hey, would you mind if we, our camera came in here and did a quick little video of you making a cup of coffee and stuff like that. They're going to be so excited that you're wanting to feature them and you're wanting to incorporate them into what's special and important about Holly Springs. And I think that speaks more to us than having them pay for some of the videoing. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but
that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, but on your own, I mean, if you're going to do individual videos and any kind of marketing that you're doing on your own, if you partner up with somebody, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. For Brian and I, we would like to take the approach of these initial like stock lifestyle videos of the towns as our way of giving back to the town and highlighting local businesses. So this is our thank you to them for being in the community. And we want to help them grow their business. And in return, they can help grow our business because we're growing local together. Okay. The next slide. So here we would talk about our preferred partners. These are the relationships at our fingertips, from loan officers, title companies, home services, home warranty. And at the bottom of this, I say the list is included in the packet. So this is just a slide letting them know about this and letting them know in the packet that we're going to send them, we have sheets with all of the information of all of our preferred partners on there for them. So we don't really spend much time on this slide, but we just want to show them that we have these preferred partners, because then they know that we're not alone, that we have relationships. We have basically every service that they could possibly need in the selling of their home. We have it here for them. And then we go into talking about preparation tips. Fresh house, fresh yard, fresh photos. This is included in the packet. There is a, and I haven't finished this one, finished customizing it, but it's a 15-step process. It's 15 things that you can do in the house to prepare the house and the yard to be photo ready for showing. And it's all infographics. So that will be included in the packet that they see. And when you get to this slide, if they're like, hey, can we see that now? Go ahead and click over to your file. Click over to that, open up that document and show them those 15 things that are important to do. And remind them that the things that we're asking of them to do, we have a list of home service providers if they need help with it. Or some of these things you may offer to help them with, depending the level of service that you provide as a listing agent. I've seen people where they personally go and put flowers in the yards for people. They cut the grass, they go and clean, or they hire a cleaning crew and pay for that as part of them being the listing agent. They say, hey, listen, you're doing all this work to prepare the home. You know, you're decluttering, you're taking photos off the wall, you're preparing the home. The least I can do is take the extra stress off of you of making sure that your house is, you know, picture perfect, clean for photos in your first open house. I'm going to bring a cleaning crew in here and take care of that for you and alleviate that stress and anxiety from them. Honestly, I don't know what the cost of it is here, but in Texas, it ran me on average $150 for a deep clean. To me, that is well worth it to help a client and make it easier for them, that their clean is basically wiped slate from the beginning and they just need to then maintain their house. Next part, we talk about staging. So furnished by professionals. So this is another one of our preferred partners that we want to have. Interior designers, stagers. The National Association of Realtors survey found that the longer homes stay on the market, the further their price drops. Once staged, homes spend an average of 73% less time on the market. That's huge. That's huge. So this is somebody that we definitely want to have in our pocket. Whether they go in and stage the home with the stuff that the client already has, whether they have to bring some things in there, or if the house is vacant, you know, you look at the cost difference. Do we maybe come in and stage 1 or 2 rooms just so people can envision the lifestyle there, or do we virtually stage that? So virtual staging on a room runs $32 a photo to fully virtually stage a room. That's not a bad cost because sometimes furnishing a room from a stager, it can run you a couple $100s a room a month, depending the size of the room, what they're having to bring in there. But virtual staging is not as effective as actual staging in a house, but it is an important element. And when they see that their house will spend 73% less time on there by having the house actually staged for the photos, they're probably going to be okay if they have to spend a little money to hire somebody. Because if you look at, I mean, every month that the house is on the market, that's another mortgage payment that goes out. Well, if they took that one mortgage payment and applied it to staging and fixing the house up and getting it ready, and it helped them sell it a month faster and for more money because it's more visually appealing to the client, somebody that sees a staged home is they're going to pay more money for that house. They may get multiple offers. You're going to get more views and more people coming to the house to look at it. So this is an important element that is important that we offer, but that you also explain to them. So, and I know that there are some houses that this isn't going to work for. Okay, so the staging isn't for everything, But at a minimum, for those unstageable houses, I would say virtually stage your main rooms. Virtually stage a photo of the living room and the master. Okay, just so they can see what it looks like. Because I don't know about you guys, but when you walk into an empty house, you look around and you're like, okay, what do we put here? Is my furniture that I have going to fit here? How would I lay it out in this room? Especially when you have open concept, you have no idea. So you need to virtually capture them for that. Somebody's printing on my printer and I have no clue who. Okay. Another big thing right now is COVID precautions. Hold on. Let this document go a second. I apologize. It's probably one of my kids in school printing something to read or to fill out. Okay. So COVID precautions are huge right now. And I think it's something that, whether it's COVID, it should just be precautions. So once everything lifts and people may not be stressing about as much of this because it comes off the news and they're not worried about it. Even if you put something about precautions on here, we just edit the verbiage: cleanliness, transportation, video and virtual tour, a waiver that you can have them sign, virtual closings. This is important for people to see. So for them to visually see that you're going above and beyond to make sure that their health and safety is being protected, the more they're going to trust you and they're going to appreciate what you're doing. So these are all things, the waivers in the listing packet, in the Google Drive listing presentation. So there's national waivers out there, or you can create your own waiver that just reinstates the cleanliness, transportation, things like that. You know, part of the listing, no children are allowed at the showings because you're trying to prevent people from touching as much as possible. Driving in separate cars, cleanliness, all doorknobs and surfaces are cleaned before and after a showing to let your seller know, hey, we're gonna make sure that you're safe. We're gonna wipe everything down before somebody comes in here, and then we're gonna wipe it down as soon as they leave. And if it's something that you wanna offer, because right now I think accompanied showings are probably better than just letting somebody randomly go into a house. It takes an extra 5-10 minutes to quickly wipe off the surfaces if they're touching anything, which we advise them not to. And then virtual closings. So all paperwork, all negotiations, all paperwork, everything these days, and almost 100% of your closing is virtual. So not only are you doing a virtual listing presentation, but any paperwork you're doing, any negotiating, you can hop back on a Zoom call just like this, or FaceTime on, if you have iPhones. I'm not an iPhone user, don't make fun of me. You can do everything virtually through video. So nobody ever has to come in contact. And that is something as well that is going to stay. Even when this ban is all listed, this is all going to stay. So start getting comfortable with it now. And it's going to help things get executed faster. So because people as well, they're like, well, if I have to go drive a half hour to sit with you and talk, you know, that's a half hour this way, half hour that way, plus we're there for another half hour. That's an hour and a half. Where if we just went on a video call for a half hour, I just saved an hour of my day. So think about the mindset shift that's happening with the consumer. Okay, next slide. Setting expectations. So, and this is also another piece that is in your folder in the Google Drive, is setting expectations from sold, pending to active. And this is where we talk about the CMA. So all data is reported to MLS. We've pulled comparative homes within your market. Pricing your property appropriately the first time will largely play into how long your property sits on the market. And this is where, from here, if you can put a link in here, which I didn't, or you can hop over to your CMA if you want to review the CMA at this point, or wait until the presentation's done. You have to kind of gauge the client and what they're looking for. But this is an important slide, but it's basically upfront telling them how important it is, the pricing in your home, and setting the expectations. So part of setting expectations, the conversation that you can have during this slide is, you know, so what are you looking for in listing your house? What brings you to wanting to sell your house at this time? Listen to them, let them talk. You know, if they're saying, well, we're being relocated, so, you know, my job starts in a month and we need to get over there. Well, that right there is going to it's going to help you decide how you should price this home. So when you're doing your CMA, if you know that pricing a home in this range sells a house in 10 or less days, but if you price it in this range, it can sit on the market for 30 to 60 days, but these people are getting out of here in a month and they need their house gone. Well, that's going to affect how you price it. So during this slide is where you can take a couple minutes to talk about what their expectations are. You know, from the time to, is there a certain amount that they're looking to get out of their home? You know, how open are they to open houses? You know, people coming into their home, you know, all of those kinds of items. So there's a list. I don't think I shared it with you guys yet, but there's a list of questions that you can ask during the setting expectation conversation. And it's there's a seller's guide and there's a buyer's guide. So I will share that with you guys as well. And it just helps you get a better idea of where they're at so you can better set their expectations, because the number one reason somebody doesn't hire you, fires you, or the listing goes expired is because expectations were not properly set from the beginning. And I don't know. I mean, if you set expectations up front and you have all your items listed and then all of a sudden they turn around and start complaining about something, well, you can go back and say, well, I remember in an earlier conversation when we were talking about this, you said this. So, you know, so let's talk about how that's changed, or why is that upsetting you now when in the beginning, you know, this is what you wanted, and I was delivering the expectations of what you made clear to me. So this slide, this conversation is probably one of the most important slides that there is. And that goes for buyers and sellers. Next slide. What's next? Paperwork, prepping the house, listing the house, showing the house, and selling the house. You are giving them a quick 5 steps. Like in their mind right now, they're like, oh, 5 easy steps. This is going to be a piece of cake, right? Like you're bringing ease and comfort to them. And what you can do here, so here they're seeing 5 steps, but really we as realtors have 48 steps. There's 48 steps to us from listing a home to closing a home, but we're only going to show them that there's 5. And that's where we can have this conversation that we are trying to simplify this process for them, that these are the main things that we need to discuss, and that we as the realtor, we're going to take care of all the other things on the back end, and you don't have to worry about any of that. We just, you know, I'm going to be your guide. I'm your professional. I'm your expert, and we're going to get you from step to step to step, and we're not going to have any hassle in between. And if you wanted to create or add the 48 listing step process into your packet, you can. It depends how much you want to disclose to the client. So, all right. And then the last page, so this is my team, but the last page, this is your hurrah. This is where you get to brag about yourself. So on this last page, this is where you can incorporate reviews that you've had, your 5-star rating, any designations that you have, anything it is that you want the consumer on the other side to see about you, that is the wow factor. You get to pick what you put on here. You can put anything that you want to. I've seen people where they outline it and they have 3 reviews. They have a picture of themselves. They put 3 reviews from customers with the customer's name on it. They list all their designations on another side. But this is your end. So then after you just went through and wowed them with a simple yet informative presentation with clickable links, showing them examples of everything that you're talking about, at the very end, you're wowing them. Now, I'm going to go back.
And while you're doing that, Jessica, you know, if you all want a picture of yourself and to have a team behind you, I mean, we're all a team. So you can have photos of other agents behind you. You can have photos of your preferred vendors and stuff like that if you want to show an army of people with you.
Okay. So this is something that you can incorporate into your listing packet, is your resume, which everyone should have a resume. Personal profile, if you have work history. You don't have to put schools. You can edit this to be where you're listing your hobbies. things, things that you're involved with in the community, your, church, community services, if you own other businesses, anything. But putting together something professional looking that you include in your listing packet in your Google Drive, I think is very important, because it creates a relatable factor to the client, where sometimes they hire you just for the sole fact that you said, oh, I went to UNC. And they're like, oh, I'm a UNC alumni. I would love to work with you, right? Or that you like hiking and fishing. If they see those hobbies on there and they connect with you on that level, that may be the one reason that they hire you outside of anything else. So this right here is also another important element. This was something done in Canva, and it's something that, I'll share with you, that you can all edit it to your own liking if you want to keep the same format, or if you can come up with, design your own format. Real quick, I want to hop to, so the links that I put in my presentations, most of what you do when it comes to, when you go and create your CMA, now this is my other MLS, I'm just much more familiar with it. So I apologize to you guys for that, but most of what you search for when you're doing a CMA, or you're looking for houses that were just listed in 7 days, the last 7 days or anything like that, most of what you generate when you're doing a search, you can form it into a link, like a live link, where this is the link that I would copy and paste into my presentation, or copy and paste into my Google Docs when I create something there. Videos, everything you have has a link, but you want to embed the link. You don't want to post this link. You want to write what you want and then link it and copy and paste this as a link. That's something that probably Brian can go in more in depth with, on where to get these links, depending what you're through conversion or whatever sites it is that he wants you using, as far as generating these links that you're going to copy and paste, for those that aren't familiar on how to do that. I'm going to switch screens a second. So, I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you a lifestyle video. I don't know if you'll hear it, but it's only a minute long. But this is the idea. Do you see how it looks a little different than a typical video tour? There's something inviting about it. There's something, and the house doesn't have to be upscale. It's just a staged home, and they're hopping from scene to scene to show you the lifestyle of the home. Now this one doesn't have things about the area. This was just specific to the home. But that's an idea of the design of a lifestyle video. So I just wanted to show you that. Okay. So in the folders, this is where I said, and for you, just to make it so you could see it much easier, personalized CMA, link to live comparables. So I can go in here. I did a CMA. What I did was I emailed it to myself, which gave me the link. That was the easiest thing. So, and then when they click on that in the presentation, it's going to give them the CMA right here in front of them with all their comparables, pricing strat, whatever it is that your CMA looks for. This is just what my CMAs look like. And then it talks about the homes. But inside all of these homes, from this CMA, because it's a PDF form, you can't click on any of this. So that's why when I went in here, I also did a live link to comparables, because when we're talking about pricing of the home, you haven't been inside the home yet because you're doing a virtual presentation. So what you can then do is you can pull up a live link to the homes that you're comparing to them. And you can say, okay, let's go through the photos of this home. How does this home compare to yours? Let's talk about this house has tile throughout. You know, what does your house have? And you can actually go through and come up with the price with them in front of them after you do your presentation. If they want to go this far, if they're like, okay, we love everything you're going to offer. You know, you gave us roughly what our house price range is, because you don't want to give them a set number. You want to give them, you know, this is the price range of where we can list your house. But until we actually directly compare it to other houses to see the features in your house compared to the others, we can't come up with a definitive price. And we also want to match that price with your expectations of selling your home. So, and then this would be the next step, is where you go through here. One of the cool things about doing this, and this would be whether I did a virtual presentation or sitting with them in person, is you want to get the seller to pick their price. This right here, when you're directly looking at other houses and they're seeing what these houses look like compared to their house, and they're seeing, oh, that house does have nicer finishes there. Oh, they removed their carpet and put tile. We still have carpet there. When they start seeing how their house directly compares to the others, they start being like, oh, well, yeah, I guess we can't sell at the highest price per square foot because we don't have those features. We're going to have to be down here. So doing something like this kind of helps. It helps us, because they think that now they are pricing their home, when in reality, you're just pointing them in the right direction of getting them to understand why they need to price their home on this end of the scale versus that end of the scale. And when you get a seller to basically pick their own price, you have a lot less objections throughout the process or down the road. Or if they are going to then complain, my house, you know, we haven't had any showings at the house, or my house is still sitting on the market, or we got an offer and they offered 30,000 less than what we were listing it for. You can go back to this where they were the ones that helped pick their price, and they're gonna be like, oh, well, you know, I guess we should have listened to you, and you know, how you told us, because we don't have some of these upgrades, people aren't going to pay for this. Or when they're looking at our house online compared to these others, I see why, you know, why they wouldn't want to look at ours for the same price as this other house, because that other house offers a lot more. So there's I don't want to call it a mind game, but there's a mind game in letting them kind of pick the price for their home. Has anybody ever done that with their client? Use that strategy? Anyone? Nobody?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's always a collaborative process, but you know, a collaborative process with, you know, guidance. But ultimately, you know, they're going to list what they want to list for.
Right, but when you're doing your, you know, you're picking the houses that you want them to see.
Sure.
So if there's a house that's way on the high end of the price range, and you know just from looking at the tax records or driving by the house or something, that you know that there's no way in heck that their house is going to look anything like that, then don't even put that one in your CMA. You know, only show them the houses in their CMA that you want them to see, so they can visually start comparing their house to another house.
What I find is that you know, I'll have the set of what I think is a good set of comparables, and they inevitably have gone off on the internet and have their own set, and then it's a weeding out process of education of why their wonderful set of, you know, comps that says they ought to be getting $50,000 more than you think, why they're not really comparable, and bring them back to reality. That's just seems to be par for the course.
Right, exactly. So, yeah. You gotta love this estimate, right? What Zillow tells you your house is worth, or, you know, they look at stuff on there. No, I'm with you, Michael.
Right. So why is Zestimate always wrong, and why are tax records always wrong? That's part of the conversation.
Yes. So, and tax records are showing you the value of the house according to a tax appraisal, not a market appraisal. What the house is worth and what you're paying for in taxes are two different things. You always want your taxable value to be lower than what you can sell the house for? Do you want to pay
It's an
taxes?
education process.
Right, it completely is. And Zillow, that's another story. That's a whole class. Was it? And you sparked something in my brain, and it just left me. Okay, before I mumble on about anything else, does anybody have any questions?
Well, when you do the one for Holly, I don't know if you want to do one for Raleigh since that's the main area here. But anyway, never mind.
Okay.
Never mind, because it would be here you are. Don't worry about it, Jessica. Go ahead.
Okay.
You just giving us an example.
Yeah, no, I was just, but that would be the goal, is we find one person that does these videos. That way the marketing, the quality, the style is consistent across the board. And each of you are your own individual business owners. You all operate your business in your own way. But if there's a level of consistency that as a brokerage we can bring to the table outside of your individual brand, that's going to help you look stronger, that's going to help you look more professional, that's going to help you win more listings, win more buyers, that's what we want to do. We want to kind of be that backbone, and you grow off of the backbone. It's not to change you or your style or anything that you're doing, but because there is so much on the internet these days, and there's more people going this route, and there's all of that, it's like, what can we do to bring value to you that's going to help you with your business? What can we as a brokerage bring to you that's going to elevate you above the other agent to win those things? So that's our goal. That's my goal for you guys. I know it's Brian's goal too, but whatever we can do to help you develop your brand, but aid in giving you some of the consistent professional things to tie into your brand with you on the brokerage level. Because there are still a lot of people that ask questions about the brokerage, right? Well, if we're offering things like this to you, you can call and say, oh, we have a marketing team at the brokerage, right? The brokerage is the market. They don't need to know, but there's other things that you can incorporate in there that you don't have to worry about you as an individual having. We don't want you guys to feel like you're alone, like, oh, I need to build this team by myself. Let's compile our list of preferred vendors, the ones that are at our fingertips. Let's pull all of that together. Who is everybody using? Who do you already know, like, and trust? And let's let's grow their business by growing with us and all the other agents, and let's add them onto the list. Because when we have a much more robust list of stuff, not too many, but enough, we look better. We look like we have our act together. So, any other questions? I mean, I don't even know if this was informative for you guys.
It was.
Jessica, this is awesome, because the old-fashioned, old-school brokerage ways to do the business are gonna go away, and whoever is on the top of branding, up to date, definitely will give more confidence, will convey more confidence to the prospective buyers and sellers. And we will look like we have a marketing department, and therefore we will look more successful in those people's eyes.
Jessica, is this going to be the final one, or can you make changes? Because I saw a couple of typos. And on page 9, is there any way to change the angle of the sold pending sale to be on an upscale, starting with active, pending, and sold in the same direction as the road, how it climbs up?
Yes. So what, and I know there were a few typos. I have some capitals, well, there should be capitals and things. So when I do this presentation, anything in here is editable. So what I will do is, my goal is, hold on. My goal is to create a folder in Canva. So is to get everybody with a Canva account. And like I said, they're free. And then I will create a folder. When I create that folder, so like my team, when they go into the Team Reverie folder, they can then click on this and where's my leg? All you do is you make a copy. When you make a copy of it, it then takes it into your account where you can edit and change anything you want. So my goal is to have a folder that looks like this for Grow Local, where then you go into that folder, any material that you want to use in here, all you do is you go and make a copy of it. It takes it back to your dashboard, and then you can go and edit it however you need to. And so if you want to slightly modify the design, you know, where you want to switch where active is on top, or, you know, where was I? Go back to there. Where you can go in and edit that. You can, I can go and I can move the line wherever I want to. I can go and edit the words. Any links that I have in here, where is that? You can click on the link and that's where you go and upload your own link. It's very easy to use. My goal is just to give you the template, right? And you know, modify however you want to. That's completely up to you. But if you start with a template, it's going to be a lot easier, because when I first started Canva a couple years ago, the designs I did were horrible. I had no clue how to use it. And I'm looking at this and I would spend hours trying to figure something out until I kind of like found my groove with it. So I'm like, you know, once I started figuring out what I wanted to do, I'm like, okay, this is easy. I just keep imitating everything. I'm using the same colors. I'm using the same fonts. My designs are similar to each other, because then every time I put something out there, it relates to the next. So when they see something, if somebody shares my post, they may see it and be like, oh, that looks a lot like Jessica's stuff that she posts, right? So it's that familiar. So, but yes, so there will be, and at this point, I was hoping to have a Canva class where we all sat in person and walked through how to use Canva. It's really simple, but it's something everybody can probably figure out on their own if they go to Canva, and there's little how-to videos in there. And once everybody has an account, we'll have a folder. We'll share all this to everybody, so then you can go and have all your templates ready for you. But I mean, just these are the templates they already have created for you. Depending what you want to do, you can do like the Easter post that I put in Grow Local Facebook page. I did an animated social media thing. That's where it had like the little things on it. All I did was just go in there and drop my own pictures, change the words, change the colors, and it was done. Simple things like that. But I mean, they have presentations, they have everything in here. So if you're like, okay, I like the idea of your presentation, Jessica, but that's totally not the look I'm going for. And, you know, I know that it's the one you're giving to Grow Local, but I want something completely different. It's okay. Go ahead and go and create your things. Take the stuff that I put in it, take the stuff that you see somewhere else, and make your own. Go ahead and copy it. It's okay. I mean, that's what I do for some of the stuff, is if I see something that's working for somebody else, I'm like, well, how can I take that? And I'm just going to make it look like my own now. But it's not copyright. It's not really stealing. It's using what works. And that's what that's happening right now. All the Zoom calls, all the people sharing stuff, right? They put that content out there for you to share it.
And I think that's the key. Can everybody hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. You know, a lot of you have been asking for, you know, presentations, and, you know, we've had some old school printout ones. And I think the key here is that if we have a template that's ready to go, and we'll definitely go through and make sure that there's some changes based on our market and things like that, so that by the time the template's ready for you, you'll have to make even less changes. But the key is you can go in, to Jessica's point, and you can make it your own. So you put in the stuff that you want, don't use the slides you don't want, use the pieces you do, and then add on others. If you have stuff that talks about how you do marketing online, or other things you do with open houses and stuff like that. So there's other pieces you can add to this. But to have something that's just ready to go for you is huge. So I love it.
Does anyone have any questions or anything they want to add? Anything they didn't like about this? I mean, you won't hurt my feelings. So
I have more that I want to go over real quick. If I haven't, are you done presenting this part of it?
yeah. So, and just so everyone, you know, what we did for the listing presentation, it's the same concept for a buyer's presentation. So it's basically highlighting the points that are important that you need to make sure they understand. and then just incorporating, you know, anything else that you want. But we'll put together a buyer's presentation as well, but it's a little more simple than this. But the buyer's presentation more goes over the importance of preparing ahead of time, you know, making sure that your financials are in order, you know, your credit score, you already met with a lender, you know, preparing for that. What does the home search look like? All of those things. So we'll have a full buyer's presentation as well. But I didn't want to eat up more time because it's a similar concept to this.
So a couple of things I want to add to this is, you know, one, for those of you that are seeing all this, is like, well, I don't understand how this works or how this is going to, you know, how this is going to go or what to do with this. Or I don't know that I'll understand Canva. You know, the good news is the template that's going to be available to you, even if you just had to print that out or show that, I mean, virtually, whatever way you're going to go, it's going to be ready for you to do and work with, right? And then those of you that start to learn Canva and can make it more of your own, I think you're going to like knock it out of the park. And we will have some training around that as well. So the key here, again, is just to have something ready for you to go, but also something that you can make your own. A couple pieces with this as well. We will be getting a 3D video. It's called Theta V, if anybody wants to look it up. So it's like a Matterport, but it's just more economical. It still looks great. And there's a hosting website that we're going to use called i360 that will allow us to host the virtual tours that are the 3D tours. And it will allow you to do that little virtual 3D map that you see like on Matterport, where you can like see the overhead. I don't know if some of you have seen that, where you can see the rooms and then you kind of click on it, it brings you into the room, then you see the 360. So we'll have this stuff available to you soon, so that, again, from a broker level, we have some support for you that when you go into your listing appointments that you can talk about that. So this is good stuff though. I mean, I know that you all have been asking for this for a really long time. And, you know, I joke with Jessica all the time that I'm very boxy, like not fancy. You know, I would just take something, Word document, put our logo and put some words about why you should use us. I mean, you all have seen my lists. So it's nice to have something that just looks a little bit, or not a little bit, a lot more professional, and has so much plug and play. I mean, to be able to put in the videos, to be able to put into your stuff into it, I think it's gonna be amazing.
So, and the other side note to it is, you know, when you're doing these virtual presentations or on your computer, you're only sharing with them what you're comfortable leaving behind. So I know sometimes a lot of agents are like, well, they're nervous because if they go into an actual listing presentation and they leave a whole packet of stuff there, you know, they think, well, what are they going to do with that? You know, are they going to use that against me in a, you know, when they're interviewing another listing agent or anything they're going to do? Where if you do everything virtually, you're sharing your screen, but you know, unless they're taking screenshots on their other side, they're not being able to hold on to anything. And then what you're sharing from your drive in your presentation folder, you know, is only the stuff that you are okay with them having a physical copy of. So until they get to the point where they actually sign the documents. So it kind of makes things a little safer for us as well. This is a Matterport tour. If nobody's ever seen one, it takes roughly 4 hours for them to do this in a house where they scan the house. And then you just click from circle to circle to walk around the house. You can change the view. My screen froze again.
Yeah, the
Actually,
Theta V.
in Matterport, even don't have to click on a circle. You can click anywhere, even on the wall, and the camera will move forward.
Yep. But this is something that I know in some of the really big, so in the Houston market where I came from, almost every listing has this right now. And the agents that are providing this are the ones that are getting all the listings because the clients like this, and it allows your buyer, no matter where they are, to feel like they're inside the house and walking the house. So it's another level to like the lifestyle video where you're in the house and you're out of the house and you're kind of, you know, doing that kind of stuff. Like here, they literally can walk and be like, okay, I'm walking in the front door. As I go forward, oh, if I go left, I'm in the kitchen. If I go right, I'm in the dining room. So they can feel like they're in the house to see, does the layout work for me? Which is really cool. I know I love these tours.
Well, because of what we're going through right now, I mean, it's extremely important to add this to our arsenal. So that's why we're going to get something on our own as well. You know, and Matterport is great. The problem with Matterport is their cost to host the tours is just outrageous. So, you know, the Theta V is, it's the pictures are crisp, just like Matterport. You're seeing a lag when she's showing you, but there really is no lag when you're doing this in person on your computer. So like, if you haven't, just go into some of our listings in the MLS, and some of them have this Matterport thing going right now. And you'll see how, you know, nice you can just kind of scroll around and look through a room and move to the next room. So we will have something like that available very soon. And again, I went through and researched a lot of stuff. So what we're getting, I think, is very comparable. And the hosting company is a lot more user-friendly, in my opinion, and definitely more, it makes more sense from a cost perspective. So that is on the horizon. Another thing is she brought up virtual tours earlier. I'm sorry, virtual staging. If you're not familiar with Box Brownie, you want to write that down, you can Google Box Brownie. That is a way that you can do virtual staging with your pictures. And it's actually very affordable. And it's one of the better, because a lot of these virtual stagings look really silly. They don't look legitimate. The Box Brownie, in my opinion, have the best virtual staging that I've seen in terms of it actually looks like it's a real picture with real stuff in it. So check that out when you get a chance. And a lot of the stuff, so once we get this camera in, once we start doing some more of the stuff, we'll have like smaller trainings throughout the week, or once we can get together. I can't wait for that. We'll talk about some of this stuff more in depth. But
Brian, excuse me. How do you spell the Box Brownie, whatever you were calling it?
I haven't pulled it up, but the word box, B-O-X, and then brownie, like the food, brownie.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Box Brownie.
Okay, thank you.
And then if you want to like have a little bit of a heads up of where we're going to host some of these 3D tours, it's called I360, and it's EYE, like your eye, and then 360, and you can look that up. And you'll see how they have the maps, just like Matterport. They host the videos just like Matterport. And then the camera that we're going to use is called, it's a Ricoh, R-I-C-O-H, and it's a Theta, T-H-E-T-A-V. So again, if you get bored, break from the kids, go ahead and look some of those up, and you'll see kind of what we're doing with everything. But Jessica, thank you so much for doing this. Again,
Great.
My version would be a PowerPoint from like 1997. So this is much better than that. Again, I am excited that everybody can make it their own. And I know some of you do some of your own unique stuff. And at the end of the day, I'll say two things. One, I love this from a perspective of having something and being able to go out and do what you need to do to list homes. But I will also say that it's still about relationship building and rapport. So when I used to go out and sell in the old days where you could actually go to a house and knock on the door and walk in, I mean, it's about me. I mean, I just had to get them to like me, and it's still like that even virtually, you know, or after this is over and you start meeting people in person, it's really got to be about you to start. But the good news is when you add this layer into it and you can sit down with a presentation or get them online and show them this presentation, it really goes from them, wow, I really like this person, to wow, I really like this person, and they're extremely professional, and look at all the cool stuff they're going to do for me. So again, thanks, Jessica, and thanks everybody for being on. Back to you, Jessica, sorry.
No, you're fine. Did anybody have, I mean, any last questions or requests for anything that they may want to see that I can work on for you?
I have a question about the service platform that you can edit videos.
Which one, the Matterport or the Box Brownie?
I'm not talking about 360 tours. I'm talking if I'm taking a video in a property and to make it a little bit more professional, or even to add some effects and just make it nice. Is there any service platform app you would recommend?
Yeah. So there are Viva Video is an app, VIVA Video. Pixaloop, PIXALOOP.
There's one I saw on
Can you
Facebook.
put them in comments so we know the spelling? Would you please?
Yep, yep.
Yeah, and we'll send an email to the entire team with all these links that we're talking about. So literally everything we've talked about, so that you all can just click and kind of work your way through it. There's one on Facebook that I was looking at yesterday. I forget the name of it, but I'll find it again. And it basically it's a I think they said it's a $64 lifetime rights to use their platform, and then it takes your videos and then it will put in all the cool effects and the logos will pop up and it looked really professional. So there's a bunch of them out there.
A lot of people also use Ripple, and it's RIPL. I put that in the comments. There's a free version and there's a paid version for Ripple, where it's a platform just like the other ones. You can take a bunch of still pictures as well and create them into a video, which then social media will recognize them as a video, even if it's not a true video, which will increase the exposure.
Thank you.
Any other things that you guys would like to see?
Yeah, I'm just curious about the buyers one, and I think you all did a great job today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will get that out. So I'll communicate to everybody on the Facebook page. I'll put a reminder out today. I'll share the link to Canva. That way, for those that aren't on the video, know what site I'm talking about, for everybody to register and get their free account. And then once everybody has that account, it's as simple as me going in and whatever your email is that you register your account with is how I share the folder to you. And then once you have the folder shared to you, you have access to everything that I put in there to make a copy and edit on your own. So the other one thing, what's it called? That can help you guys. I've seen a lot, and I know a lot of people are having success with it. They're hosting their own virtual happy hours, virtual cooking classes, painting things. A lot of people are going on social media and saying, hey, I'm having a Facebook Live, or they're doing a Zoom, a virtual just gathering where they're getting people together and they're sitting there playing music or whatever it is, a way to connect with people locally and from a distance. So if you're up for something like that, it's something you might want to try. There's been a lot of engagement through that with a lot of people. And
Yeah, the happy hours are great. You just watch people on other videos just drinking. And I haven't done one, but I've watched them. And make sure if you host one, record it. But the other side of that too is if you want to use this Zoom for something like that, let me know and I can set it up for you. And then I'll share the link, and then I can make you the host. And if it's something that I can get back out, I don't need to be there for it. I just need to get it started for you, and then I can back out of it, and you can host it. Also, if there's a topic or something that you all want to share yourself, I mean, obviously from a broker level, we're trying to bring stuff that's going to help you out. But if there's something you're doing or something you feel like a cool thing that you want to share with the team, reach out to me and I'll set up a Zoom for you and say, hey, look, Michael or Joma or Diana, whoever has something they want to share with everybody. And here's the day and time that they're planning on doing it. Join in, and then we'll get it set up. That's it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thanks for joining, everybody.
all right, thanks guys. Reach out if you need anything. Okay.
Yeah, we're here if you need us.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.